listening to Scribble Talk, a podcast for bid and proposal professionals. My name is Bhaskar Sundaram, and with my co-host,
Ashley Case.
we will be sitting down with our industry veterans to share their stories, discuss their career, and learn how to make an impact in the industry.
Today's guest is Carrie Jordan. Carrie is the Strategy and Operations Lead for Microsoft's Proposal Center of Excellence, or PCoE. Carrie Jordan is passionately creating the best proposal organization to work for the world. PCoE's mission for Microsoft is to increase deal quality so we show up in the best way possible for our customers, to increase probability of win, and to save the Microsoft field time. While we pursue customer-centric proposal excellence, the PCoE also strives for healthy, collaborative, and balanced environment for their proposal professionals. Prior to her role as a strategy and operations lead for Microsoft's PCoE, she served as the PCoE program manager and earlier as the senior proposal manager. Carrie draws from over 13 years of experience in proposal management, coordination, writing, editing, content curation, and desktop publishing. The majority of her experience in large public sector cloud deals. She previously served as the Director of Consulting Services for Shipley Associates, the industry-leading authority on government and commercial proposal standards and processes. She supported over $150 billion in proposal wins. Carrie is also a successful small business owner in multiple non-competing industries. Carrie lives in Virginia in the U.S. with her family, her husband Chad, and their 3 children, Audrey, Luke, and Adeline. She also has 2 stepchildren, Kirsten, who lives in Kansas City with her mom, and Connor, 21, who attends Virginia Tech and is a goalie on the VT soccer team. Wow. Carrie and her family are currently building their forever home on 10 acres in the country. So exciting. Welcome, Carrie, to Scribble Talk. Great to have you with us.
Well, thank you, Ashley and Bhaskar. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, so as you know, we love to start in the beginning. So we are curious, where were you born? Where did you grow up? And where did you go to school?
I was born in Western New York, just outside of Rochester, for anyone who knows that area. And then I was raised in Northern Virginia, about an hour outside of DC, and went to school here in Virginia. We moved here when I was about 2. So most of my childhood memories are here in Virginia, although we did visit back home in New York a lot. And went to high school here in Virginia, had a great group of friends, and I did dancing growing up with my hobby of choice.
Very cool. And did you go on to go to university?
Yes, I went to college at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia, where I changed majors several times, I think 3 or 4 times, and ultimately landed on the super broad and safe professional communication major, so I could pretty much cover everything.
Yeah, it's such a common kind of profession for our industry, at least. Common schooling. Your first job, was it in school? Was it in high school? Was it post-university?
Well, going way back, I started working pretty much as early as labor laws allowed in Virginia. I was excited to earn my own paycheck and go out and, back then the thing was to do was like to go buy a CD with your first paycheck. And so I was ambitious from a young age. And so other than babysitting, I worked at a kids fitness gym where I hosted kids' birthday parties with tubes and ball pits and all that. So I did that through middle school and high school. And then I worked as a manager at a retail store through high school and college before entering into the IT world after college.
Okay, so after college, your first job was in the IT world. Was it straight into proposals or something different?
Something slightly different. I think I kind of fell into proposals accidentally, the way most of us do. Like, I don't think I'm going to be a proposal manager. Usually we don't even know what that is, and then we get pulled in. So my 4-year college plan turned into a 5-year plan when I got married really young and had a baby and got divorced really young. So I kind of cranked through a lot of those early milestones early in my 20s. Started when I was still a junior in college. I started as a project administrator at an IT company in Northern Virginia at a small business. And I was doing just basic kind of project admin stuff. And then I was pulled into my first proposal to assist with editing resumes. good fun. So, and then, editing resumes and past performance, and learned a little bit more here and there. And then they kept pulling me into more projects, and eventually became a project manager there, got my top secret clearance, and started working cleared proposals as well. And the rest is history.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your career timeline. So I'm guessing that IT firm was not Microsoft, right?
Correct. No, it was a small business called Tangible Software. And, starting in a small business, I think was really advantageous for me because I had to learn how to do everything. When you're a proposal manager in a small shop, you don't have all the other people usually to help you. So that's why I had to learn how to write and edit and DTP and manage and print production and go, no go, and kind of creep into some capture stuff as well. So starting out at that small business was a great opportunity for me to kind of sink or swim. And I learned a lot really fast. So that was a huge blessing. Got my clearance too, which was really cool. I was able to work on site at FBI and DISA. So that exposure to kind of the government world was really fascinating at the beginning of my career. And then when I left Tangible, I went on to CGI Federal. So that's where I think I really like cemented myself in proposals and learned the way that big companies do things and a little more process and structure and rigor around the proposal industry. The ante was really upped when, going from a small business to then working on tens of millions, hundreds of $1 million contracts at CGI. And then after that, I went back to the small business world again and worked for a company called Sterling Computers located out in the Midwest. That was just an awesome team, really felt like a family. Was there for a couple years, and then the mothership, Shipley, came a-calling. It was just an incredible opportunity. I couldn't turn it down. So as you said, I was the director of consulting services there for a while and learned that side of the business, which was really fascinating. Obviously, from kind of the source, was a really awesome opportunity, made some really great relationships in there. And towards the end of that stint, after a couple of years as the director of consulting services there, I moved into just consulting, proposal consulting for Shipley. I got burnt out on proposals. I burned out like real hard and real fast. I think I was probably 6 or 7 years, maybe 8 years into my proposal career at that point, and was just tired. So I took a pretty decent break from the proposal industry altogether, where I just did consulting here and there. I dabbled in other industries in marketing, and got remarried, had 2 more babies. So it was a good time for me to be away from the craziness of proposals. I don't think I would have been able to. I also didn't have very good boundaries in my career at that point. So I don't think that I would have been able to be a healthy proposal manager and mom to 2 under 2 at that point. And then I think, when I started to kind of come up for air, when my youngest was almost 1, Shipley asked if I wanted to consult with Microsoft to help them build out their public sector content repository over 2 years ago. And I said, sure, how bad can that be? That doesn't sound too stressful. And it wasn't. It was a really awesome project that, I fell in love with the culture of Microsoft and the team and what they had a vision to build within the company. And then that evolved into an FTE position at Microsoft. And here I am. I feel like I'm home.
Oh, wow. What a cool kind of just path, right? So you went from hustle and bustle, took kind of the break, and then now just kind of landed in what seems like a very kind of perfect position for you. Exactly. I love that career path. So how was the transition going from kind of, the consulting here and there and then back into full-time work at Microsoft?
I think it was a slow enough transition that it didn't jar me or terrify me away again, which is good.
Yeah.
Like I said, the first project that I did was about 3 or 4 months, 2 years ago, and we were building out the reusable IP repository for PubSec in Microsoft. So it wasn't, a full-blown proposal management, come back to managing $100 billion deals again. It was a lot more balanced, and it felt like for the first time I was doing a job in the proposal industry that felt healthy and it felt balanced. Because as we all know, this is a very intense career. It's a very intense profession, especially if you're a recovering workaholic like I am. So I felt like very peaceful in this role, and just the culture of Microsoft, I think, made it made me not feel like I was trapped, kind of like I felt before I went on that proposal hiatus, because it was healthy and balanced, and the culture was just so respectful and, human first and work-life balance. So I think with any other company, I probably wouldn't have felt as comfortable coming back in full time. But it was a slow transition with a really healthy company. So it was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. Well, it sounds really cool. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Microsoft PCoE and what your vision for the PCoE is?
Yeah, absolutely. I could talk about this all day. Bhaskar knows that. So, after that PubSec project, I became a proposal manager in a couple different groups for Microsoft for a while, kind of hopped around wherever they needed me. And then one of the directors here at Microsoft was starting a new proposal group for product proposals, and they were going to name it the Proposal Center of Excellence. So they kind of looked at the contractor pool that they had and said, okay, who do we want to set up this team? And when they asked me, I was really nervous because I was in my safe space. I'm still only 6 or so months from coming back into the full-blown workforce. So I was nervous, but excited. And one call with the leadership team, Vicki Griesinger and Diana Parker, I knew that it would be an opportunity that I had to take on. So partnered with a really small team at first to create the Proposal Center of Excellence. And we got together and just said, okay, like how we get to create a brand new proposal group. How do we want to do this? So it was just an awesome opportunity. And I am blessed with the people that I got to do this with. Stacey Dewey, who I know you know, Amanda Heather, Robin Clark. These are some women that it was just awesome to be thrown together in this situation and to create this. So, our vision was really like, we started out as a pilot, and we just had to prove the value to Microsoft to invest in us in the future. So we had a very short runway of just a few months to crank out as many proposals, the highest quality, and to kind of build the plane on the way down and set the structure and all that. And because we had just such an awesome team, we were able to secure an additional year of funding and grow that team from like the 10 that we started with to 65.
Oh my gosh.
That's massive growth. So I've been sprinting for a while.
Yeah.
But it was just the best team ever. So it's been really energizing and really exciting. And I think our vision going forward, is to continue to build on that momentum, to continue to show the ROI to Microsoft, to our stakeholders here, of how critical a sophisticated, collaborative proposal shop is in a company like Microsoft, to help the sellers in the field do this piece that's really a separate skill from regular sales. It's a totally separate skill, and how much better positioned Microsoft is by investing in a proposal group. So eyes on the future, just to continue to build out that ROI. And then one thing that I'm immensely passionate about, which I'm sure won't surprise you from my history, is not just building the best proposal shop in the industry, but the best proposal shop to work for. Incredibly important to me that the people on our team in Microsoft are humans first. They feel valued, they're appreciated, they have work-life balance, and they don't hate their jobs, to be honest, because proposals are stressful. So if I can find a way to make this awesome career more balanced for the team, that's a huge goal of mine.
Wow, it sounds amazing. It sounds like you're growing immensely and providing so much value for Microsoft. Very cool stuff, and can't wait to keep hearing about it for the years to come.
Yeah.
So you have touched on small businesses, large businesses. You've kind of seen like the full spectrum of proposals. Do you have any memorable ones that kind of stick out in your mind?
Oh man, good or bad memories? Let's see.
Yeah.
The ones with hard copy production hold a painful place in my memory. Fortunately, those are few and far between now. But whenever I think of like a memorable proposal experience, for some reason, like running around frantically in the production room always springs to my mind. So
Yep.
anyone with a hard copy production is definitely memorable. The first one I ever did, back in the very beginning of my career, early 20s, I was like 7 months pregnant. And I was in this tiny little office with two of my girlfriends, another one who was also 7 months pregnant, and then another woman. So it was three of us in this one person office. And we were in there crammed in, editing, past performances and resumes. We called ourselves the estrogen enclave because we were pregnant and, women trying to, at the beginning of our careers, trying to figure this out and develop like long friendships in that experience. And remember that was like my indoctrination into proposals. Very pregnant, very tired. And when we packaged it all up, that was a hard copy submission for the FBI. When we packaged it all up, my pregnant girlfriend and I were like, wow, it feels like we just delivered a baby and we haven't delivered our baby yet, because it's a laborious, process of love, and you have such ownership over your proposals when you're done with them. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. I can just picture the three of you in that small office and just all of the, hormones and the energy in that room.
Yeah, it was very memorable.
Oh, I love it. So you also, in addition to having this amazing PCoE that you're running and growing and doing great things with, you have some small business on the side?
Yeah, my husband and I own a woodworking furniture company that kind of sprung out of accident. When we moved into a new home several years ago, we were looking for furniture. We were upgrading from a townhouse to a single family home and quickly had not enough furniture and too many kids and no place to put them all. And we were like, we need a coffee table and a desk and beds. And we couldn't find what we wanted. We couldn't find it affordably. So my husband, Chad, he's very handy. Like, he just grew up learning how to kind of tackle anything around the house. And he's like, well, I could build us a coffee table. I was like, you're going to build us a coffee table, really? He's like, sure. So he went out and he built us a coffee table, and it was beautiful. And then he did desk, and then he did, one, and he's completely self-taught. And it turned into him basically building a lot of the furniture in our home. And I would post on social media and people would say, oh my gosh, can you build one for me? You should create an Etsy shop. So we started with Etsy and grew. He works in IT too. He works at CGI Federal. So this is totally just a side hobby hustle for both of us. And we just grew, and now we have our own website. And in the new house that we're building, he's going to get his own 3-car garage for his wood shop detached. Very excited about that. Although I'm going to have a lot of personal projects for him to make us a new dining table and stuff first before we start taking customer orders again. But yeah, so we run a little woodworking business together, and it's a ton of fun. And it's really cool to see an idea from a family turn into a beautiful piece of heirloom furniture that their family will gather around and enjoy for decades to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that is so cool. So, woodworking and proposals and some involvement in APMP. When did you join APMP and find out about it?
Goodness, when did I join APMP? I joined APMP probably back around when I started Shipley, maybe shortly after CGI. So 7 or so years ago. And when I was working at small businesses, obviously I'd heard of PMP, and then joining a large business in CGI, there was, like I said, a lot more rigor and process around certification and, just having kind of a fellowship of other proposal professionals. So took the fundamentals course and test and became a member, and really excited for BPC this fall. I'm going to my first BPC. I haven't been before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Are you going to Denver?
I am.
Oh, I'll see you there.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. Stacey's going to have to be my wing woman because she's very deeply into APMP, as you know. So she's that's like her crowd. So I'm excited to go with her and meet a bunch of fun people.
Absolutely. And everyone's so inviting, and the BPC is just like kind of a thing of its own, and the energy, you're going to really love it. I'm so excited to hear you're finally making it to one.
Me too. I'm excited to meet you guys.
Any other kind of fun memories of APMP, or really more just kind of participating on the sidelines and now just getting really excited about BPC and growing involvement from there?
Yeah, I've done a couple kind of smaller conferences for APMP, more like training things that I've always really enjoyed. It's really cool to see peers that I've worked with from other companies, coming up and speaking and, writing articles. And that's actually one of the ways that Bhaskar and I got connected, is we both used to work for a gentleman named Jeff Leitner. And he was my, because I actually worked at Stanley before CGI Federal acquired them. I was a Stanley employee for like 2 weeks, and then CGI acquired them. So he was my Stanley boss for just a few weeks, up to a couple of months, and just adored him from working with him for such a short time. He's so awesome. And when I needed to reach out to someone for a referral, I asked him, and that's how he connected me with Bhaskar. So I just love how the network feels like a family in APMP and within the proposal industry in general. So going to those kind of mini training events and the conferences and stuff is really cool to see, oh, I worked with them at CGI, or oh, I've seen them at this event before. So it's cool how it kind of feels like a family coming together.
Absolutely. And everybody knows everybody in some way. It's like that 6 degrees of separation sort of feeling.
Absolutely.
So we're getting ready to kind of transition into our more fun, lighthearted Nutters round. But before we do that, can you tell us 3 things that not many people know about you?
Sure. Let's see. I love classical music. Pretty random for someone in my age. Not a lot of people love classical music, but I absolutely love, mostly like solo piano. So composers like Debussy and Chopin are my favorite. Brian Crane is a more contemporary, newer composer who's my favorite, but I put on Pandora Station solo piano radio, and I can just, like, that's when I get into like flow state, is when I'm listening to just peaceful solo piano. It's so zen for me. It's so peaceful. I can't work to other music, like with lyrics and other kinds of melodies, that my brain, I'm not one of those people who can like listen to something like people talking and also concentrate at the same time. But classical music, like it does it for me. So I love classical. I also love tons of other kind of music, completely random, country, hip hop, everything. But classical music has a soft space in my heart. Second thing, I dream of being a published author. I've written a couple books that are each in totally different random genres, and have spent a little bit of time querying agents. I've gotten some follow-up from some literary agents asking for additional content, but haven't landed a literary agent yet. That process is pretty laborious.
Wow, but very cool.
The dream. And then third thing is I'm a major exercise fitness fanatic. I love working out. This was not always the case, by the way. I absolutely hated working out for probably the first 25 years of my life. Never worked out, hated it. But now I've kind of trained myself to, that's like my outlet. I work out every single morning, sometimes twice a day. It's like therapy, and I'm sure this is going to annoy a lot of people on the call. This would have annoyed me about myself 10 years ago too. But I just love it. It's a natural free high, to get those endorphins. And it's like, a mom of a lot of kids, it's my only me time. So I lock the door and I do my workout and I sweat and I get crazy and I get all the feel good, energy to start my day. And I just love it.
Yeah, no, that's so important, particularly for those in our industry, to kind of keep ourselves healthy like that and have that natural stress relief, because, it is tough enough to manage the stress in our careers. So it's really amazing.
Carrie, classical music, intense training. What's the second one, Carrie? I missed it.
Dream of being a published author.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's amazing, Carrie. I think, and I do. There is an FM radio called Classic FM here in UK. I don't know whether it's a global one or is that's the one channel that you always tune in to go for it. Otherwise, in Spotify, they have a thing called Classic Essentials or Fast Classic. When I'm really close to a deadline, I listen to fast classics. Like it just goes very fast. So yeah, that's good. That's good. Well done. Nice. And the training. When do you train? Morning, evening, or is there any particular type of training you do, Carrie?
Mostly morning. I really like to start off my day with that energy, because if I don't do it in the morning with work and kids, I don't have energy for it at night, and then I feel sluggish and grouchy. So first thing in the morning, I'm an early riser. I have toddlers, so I have to be an early riser. But yeah, first thing in the morning, I like doing HIIT workouts, so high intensity interval training. I love weightlifting, and I've just started running, which is a special kind of hard for me for some reason, but I love it.
So do you train at home, or do you go to a nearby gym or any studio?
I work at home. I do like online workout videos and follow them to do various weightlifting programs, or, crazy half tuck, jump, burpee, renegade row, nonsense. I like the really intense workouts that like just completely depletes me and gives me all the good hormones.
I love that self-discipline, Carrie. Next time I do buddy up with you. I know I normally do that in my gym, that too with the studio, with one-to-one or with group training. Mm-hmm. So it kinds of, on my own, it's impossible. I tried it once or twice, but then even my kids laugh at me like, what are you doing, Daddy? You're supposed to do press-ups. You did 10 and now you're still lying down. Get up. I'm like, yeah, that's good. I mean, like, yeah, we'll coordinate something out of it. But that's great. I mean, like, it's super important. In addition to that, exercising and publishing and also classical music, ballet and Bible study. My God, how does that fit in, Carrie?
Yeah. So I usually try to stagger. I do like a personal Bible study on the Bible app every day, and that's how I end my day. So after the end of the day, I have like a good process for winding down, where I'm done with work for the day, spend time with the kids, dinner and all that. I shower and get cleaned up to just like kind of wash away the day. That's kind of like my commute, if you will, since we don't have commutes anymore. And then I climb in bed and sit next to my 4-year-old after his 2-year-old little sister goes to bed, and he watches a cartoon while I read my Bible study for the night. And that's kind of really how I like just shut down and relax from the day. And it's just, a lot of people do their Bible study in the morning, which is awesome. But for me, like knowing that I have that place of peace to come through at the end of the day really helps me get into night mode and break away from work and all that.
And ballet, in between, you practice ballet as well?
Ballet, yeah. I haven't done it since COVID started.
Wow.
Because I don't want to do ballet in a mask. I really don't like exercising in a mask. It's a little hot. But yeah, once things are pseudo back to normal, I'll definitely get back to it. But yeah, I've done ballet since I was 3, like baby ballerina stuff. And after I had my oldest daughter, who's 13 now, she was just a toddler and I was a single mom. And I was realizing like, I have no hobbies. I have no anything other than working and being a mom. I said, why don't you go back to ballet? You loved that. So I started doing that again in my early 20s. And I love the discipline of it. I love, obviously it combines classical music. So that's amazing. A lot of exercises to Chopin in ballet. So yeah, that's just like I have very few hobbies, to be honest, because work and kids are just such an absorbing part of my life that when I find one that's really rejuvenating, I try to make it a habit.
My God, Carrie, I mean, like, that's already amazing. I mean, like, exercise and Bible study, ballet, classical music. I think you should really pursue it. My roommate during my university days was in English National Ballet, Brendan. So, and I hardly know ballet. Obviously, I can't even stand in two legs, let alone stand in 1 feet and then with one toe and bling, doing all these things. When he took me out to his English National Ballet classes, my God, I was super impressed with how flexible these people are, and how elegant they were. Amazing. Next time, listeners, if you see Carrie, I'm sure Carrie can do a few moves for us. And if you do visit Denver, we can organize a special classical session. Carrie, do you mind? That's good. In between, there is still one goal. You are building your forever home. Talk us through where are you in the journey, and when are we going to see you in your new home?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. This is probably absorbing most of my thoughts at this point because we have moved a lot. I've moved so much in the last 10 to 15 years, from college to my first marriage to single mom and then remarried. And so we've moved a lot, and I'm just so excited to finally plant some roots in the country and have some privacy. We have a wooded lot, and it's tucked back into these beautiful woods at the back of this farmland. So it's going to be very peaceful and kind of like a retreat, which I'm so excited about. We're big outdoors people, so I love that we're going to have property for hiking trails, and there's a stream on the back of the property. And so right now the permitting process due to COVID is taking a super long time in my county. So it probably won't actually start breaking ground until late summer, and hope to be in by early 2022. So still a ways to go, but we just finished our design center, picking out the flooring and the counters and the floor plan and all that stuff. And I'm a huge interior design nut. I'm obsessed with all things HGTV and interior design and all that. So I'm just kind of clinging to the designs that we picked out and visualizing our new home and what a great place that's going to be for our family.
Wow, beautiful. I think 5 minutes ago, you told me I don't have much hobbies and interest. And believe me, you do, Carrie, you do. So Carrie, is this place going to be near Virginia where you live, or outside Virginia somewhere?
It is. It's in Northern Virginia. Yep. Okay. And it's a great kind of mix because it's, like I said, it's in the country, but it's still only about an hour with no traffic to DC. So it's still pretty close to family.
Got it. I think if things do settle down and all the flights goes, and I'll visit you 100%. Perfect. That's good. We learned a little bit more about you, Carrie, but let's go even more. So inviting you to our rapid random fire question round, or in honor of Howard Nutt, we termed it as Nutters round. So I'm sure you know Howard from Shipley, right? Or BD Institute. Mm-hmm. So Howard is my mentor. So I think Howard was in episode 1. So we started to do this in memory of Howard. So question number 1, Carrie. As a child, what did you wish to become when you grow up?
I wanted to be a mom.
Oh, really? Oh, this is
mom. Mission accomplished.
Oh, wow. This is the cutest answer we received. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Carrie. And are you happy that you have achieved your dream, or are you planning even more successful?
Oh, goodness. No more success. First, 5 is enough. It's funny because I always said I wanted 5, and I've had 3 biological. And then when I married my husband, he's got 2 amazing kids. So I got my 5 one way or another.
Wow. Anybody else who's listening who have 1 or 2, you need to look at Carrie's vision. I'm going to share that to her wife as well, just to let her know. So thank you, Carrie. So if you could switch bodies with a certain celebrity, who would it be and why?
Oh, man. A certain celebrity. That's a hard one. I want to say someone, not someone like a typical like actor or musician, but someone influential, who can make, I mean, celebrities are all influential, but who could do something great with the world. I don't know, maybe like the president or the CEO of the FDA, or, people who I feel like have the ability to make a really big impact in their positions, and just see what a day in the life is there, and take a crack at helping to influence some positive change.
So if you do become a president of United States, or become as chief exec of a big company, Carrie, what's the one rule you would set for people to follow?
One rule. To never stop growing as an individual. Personal development is one of the most important things in my life. It's gotten me through so many crazy hard things in life, and I would not be the person I was today if I hadn't continually leaned into personal development, growth, and surrounding myself with positive people who are interested in growth. So I just think for me, for my family, for the people that I choose to interact with, being people who are constantly growing and evolving is a non-negotiable for me.
Wow, totally. What are your favorite pizza toppings?
Favorite pizza toppings? Meat. I love the pepperoni and sausage, and good old meat lovers pizza is good for me. No veggies though. I can't do veggies.
Nice. Love it. Love it. So if you had your own boat, what name would you give to your boat?
My boat. I would probably name it after my mom, because it's typically supposed to be named after a woman, right? And I've got 3 beautiful daughters, so I wouldn't be able to pick which one I would name it after. So I would name it after my mom, who's been such an awesome beacon of love and acceptance and encouragement in my life. So the Carol.
Carol, wow.
Carol.
So what's your favorite word or a quote?
I'm going to go with one of my favorite Bible verses, which is, "Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine." That's Ephesians 3:20.
And for people who are not familiar with Bible, Carrie, do you mind translating it?
Yeah, sorry. So it's basically like, now to him who's able to do immeasurably more than all we could hope for, ask for, or imagine. It's realizing that, God or source or whoever you believe in is able, not bound by human abilities. So when you're asking for something, when you're praying for something, when you're believing for something, hoping for something, don't box in the creator into what you think is actually possible, because is infinitely capable, immeasurably more than all we could ask for or imagine. Just expect greatness, expect blessings, expect positivity, because what you expect in life is what you tend to get.
If Ashley and I took a reference from your children on Carrie, what do you think they will say about you?
I think it would depend on which child you asked, but they're all different ages. I have a 13-year-old daughter, so mommy is very organized. My husband and I have very traditional parenting roles where a lot of times he gets to be the fun one, and I get to be the one who's scurrying around and taking care of things and getting things done. But I also absolutely love to slow down and snuggle with them. So, I think it would be kind of a mix of, mommy's really busy, always moving, but also loves to sit down and rest with us. And, I'm still the one that they want to come to when they have a boo-boo, or when they're hurt, or when they're tired or grouchy or anything like that. So, busy, but comforting mama.
That's beautiful, Carrie. I think it's the same. I think in my home, I go and do whatever I do because my wife takes all the heat. She just runs the family. And it's beautiful to see how successful women like you manage both at the same time. There's a lot of respect for colleagues like you. So you mentioned about being an author, published author. So if you're writing a book about yourself, what title would you give to your autobiography?
Oh man, these are hard questions, Bhaskar. I really
I mean,
some prep time to think about my answers. I like being prepared. What would I title my autobiography? It's funny because I would place so much importance on, not that other people wouldn't, but I would place so much importance on the title. Like I put a lot of emphasis on the first slide of a PowerPoint deck, like an exorbitant amount of time on stuff like that, because I think that first impression, that judging a book by its cover is legitimate. People do that. So I would spend a lot of time on it. So I'm gonna tell you that I'll get back to you on that one. I do not know. I can't deliver anything less than perfect for this answer. So I can't get that without thinking.
So okay, we'll come back to you definitely on that, Carrie. So assume you found a time machine that took you back, say, 1,000 years ago. All you have is the clothes that you're currently wearing on, and you have been shifted all the way 1,000 years ago. How do you tell people that you are from the future?
Wow. That's a good question. I think I have kind of a boring answer, which is just that I would tell them about what the future looks like. And, from a motivational perspective, look at all the ways that we're going to evolve in the next 1,000 years, in science and medicine and technology and agriculture and all the ways that the world has grown positively in the last 1,000 years, and just kind of share to prove some of the stuff that people 1,000 years ago, I'm sure, did not think was possible, and share, what that looks like now.
I'm sure you're going to talk about Microsoft and writing proposals.
Absolutely. Yeah. The 9 characteristics or 7 characteristics of a good proposal.
Totally. Right. Let's see. You already mentioned that you are a morning person. How early do you wake up, Carrie?
I'm really passionate about not waking up to an alarm, because I just feel like that does not set a good intention for the day for me. Waking up naturally really improves my morning. So it varies a lot. It's anywhere from 4:30 to 6:30, usually around 6. Sometimes 5:30, but yeah, I like to wake up naturally. We go to bed really early. We're asleep by 9 most nights. So it allows me to wake up early. I'm very passionate about sleep. So I get my solid 8 hours and then wake up with the energy to do all the stuff that I have to do.
I know this past 1 year, we all have been going through lockdown, Carrie. So, I know we'll be coming out of it soon. So what's on your bucket list?
Traveling and just getting out more with the kids, especially our youngest kids. They were just 1.5 and 3 when lockdown started a year ago. So, now that we're sort of starting to venture back out into the world, they really don't know, they haven't been exposed to really simple things like going to restaurants or going to a mall or going to museums, because they were so young when this happened, and it's been a year of their relatively short lives. So whenever we do get out to do something, anything, even small things, they're just geeking out. They're so excited that they see people and that they're in public. And my husband and I look at each other, we're like, these poor sheltered children, they don't know what real life looks like because we've been locked down for a year. So, anything, I think we're just really excited to travel and then just get out more around other people and expose our kids to the world.
Nice, Carrie. Carrie, that's the rapid random questions or nutters round done. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, now moving into. So talk us through the people in your life. Who are the people who have been the most influential in your life and career, both at work and at personal life as well?
Yeah. So my parents, My parents are incredible. I joke sometimes that I grew up in a Norman Rockwell painting because I had a really, really great childhood. My parents are both tremendous human beings. They've been married 39 years. Great example of marriage and love. And they both had they're retired now, but had tremendous work ethic and loyalty and just ethics in general. So they gave me a really good foundation, I think, both personally and career-wise. My husband, Chad, his energy honestly is just the perfect complement to mine. I'm very like go, 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 rush, accomplish, achieve. And he has a much more peaceful energy. So he's ambitious and a go-getter too, but like in a much calmer way. And he really levels me, and he's just the perfect energy for me. And I can just kind of be, I don't have to try with him. I can just be, which is really important to counter my energy, which is a lot more voracious. And then without a doubt, the strongest influence in my career has been my manager, Diana Parker, who I know you know. She, not even just as a manager, but just as a human, she's just such an incredible blessing to this world. And I've learned more in being mentored by her in the past year and a half than I have in all of the career years before that. She's just a great balance of leading and mentoring, but also coaching and teaching along the way and giving me the opportunity to learn things. And she has immense patience with me. And I've been able to grow in my career and professionally more in the past, like I said, year and a half than in all the other years combined. So I really think that, like the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. She came at the perfect point when I was ready to just really get serious about my career path and really was excited to make an impact. And I needed a leader like Diana to come into my life. And I know that, unfortunately, I'm sure she won't be my manager forever because that's not possible. Although I always joke with her that I'll go with her wherever she goes in the company. But I know that I will always look back on this time of my career and just be like floored with gratitude over just having been in her sphere.
Wow, that's so nice. You're blessed with family, beautiful family at home, and also an amazing manager at work. Carrie, all your Bible studies are actually coming to fruition. Keep praying, and I'm sure you will be a Diana for many more people at PCoE, Carrie. And I mean, like, it's not just one way, isn't it? And when I speak to other people in PCoE, they all rave about you as well. So I know you get and you share. Brilliant. So, Carrie, what's one trait that you love the most about yourself?
Say probably my positivity. Like I can't let myself live in negativity. And I think I haven't always been that way, but I've noticed when I've made this shift in my life in the past 7 or 8 years, really leaning into personal growth and positive energy and just learning, as you think, so shall you be. As I've learned those kind of principles about life and the world, and I've really grasped onto positivity, and just, you can't change the world and your circumstances and like what's happening right now, but you can change how you react to it. And in every single moment you have a choice, and choosing joy, choosing positivity has really just given me a whole other perspective in life. And then that positivity has manifested positive blessings out of that, because like I said, what you expect, you tend to receive. So, learning about the power of positivity is probably my favorite thing.
Totally, 100%. I'm sure listeners will agree wholeheartedly with you on that. What have you observed lately that reminded you that people are good?
I love this question. I generally do just think people are good. I think there's no other way to go about life. If you think about it differently, then that's what you'll experience. But recently at my son, Luke, his T-ball practice. So T-ball is for 4 and 5-year-olds. And he is one of the youngest on the team. And he's usually just out there like goofing around, playing in the dirt, like partially not paying attention. Just like I said, so excited to be around other kids because he hasn't been because of COVID. That whenever I'm watching him on the field, I'm like, oh gosh, come on, Luke, pay attention. Like, come on, buddy, like, don't mess with that kid's hat. And as a mom, I think we're always feeling like we're failing in some way. And like, oh, I want my kids to be behaved and all that. But there was a mom at baseball game the other day who I'd never met her. She was a mom of one of the other kids. And she came up to me and she said, can I just tell you what a blessing Luke is to this team? He is such a positive energy. He is such a light to always laughing, always giggling. He's very silly. He makes the energy positive. And she did not have to come and tell me that. Like, I think a lot of times, we think of something positive, but we don't do that extra step of going and saying it. And just the fact that she walked across the field and told another mom what a blessing their child was, especially when I was already having these self-conscious, thoughts about, oh, you can stop playing in the dirt. And she just told me what a light he was to the rest of the team. And that meant so much to me. Like I said, she didn't have to do that. And she didn't realize what a blessing that sentence was too, because the name Luke actually means light. And we chose that name very specifically for Luke 137, for nothing is impossible with God, because he was a miracle baby. So for someone to come and take that effort out of her day to tell us, another stranger, another mom, that their kid was a light was just, it was really sweet. It meant the world to me.
That's nice, Carrie. You never know, right? Who are we impacting on a day-to-day basis? And especially the younger ones, they're always, a sense of happiness. That's beautiful, especially for a mom to hear the impact that their little ones are having in the wider community. It's quite nice. Coming back to the sector that we operate, Carrie, so what's that one common myth in our bid and proposal industry that you would like to debunk?
It doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be as draining and exhausting and negative as I've seen it be, because I've seen both. I've seen it be the relentless, difficult, missing nights and weekends with your family, kind of drudgery experience. And I've seen the other side of the coin, where there's boundaries and there's humanness and there's weekends with your family and there's collaboration and actual joy in proposals. And I think some people view the proposal industry, like proposal professionals view it as like, oh, we're so underappreciated and it's so hard. And I was that too. Like, I thought that and felt that way for a really long time. But what I think the perspective that I gained when I left and came back to the industry is that it doesn't actually have to be that way. And part of that is the energy that we bring and the boundaries that we set and the expectations that we put out into the world about how we're going to be treated and how we're going to be perceived. But it's also about where you choose to work and the people you choose to surround yourself with. And it doesn't have to be hard. It can be really, really rewarding, and not that it's not challenging, but it doesn't have to be that kind of painful experience that a lot of us have had.
Beautiful, Carrie. And I had a follow-up question of what advice would you give to our colleagues who is looking to pursue a similar career as you? You pretty much nailed that response in the previous one, but if there is anything else you would like to add to that, Carrie, please do add.
Yeah, I mean, I think echoing what I just said, like, to set boundaries, like, I think it's an incredible profession. Honestly, I was a 23-year-old single mom, and without this profession, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So I am forever grateful for this industry and the path that it's led me to. So absolutely pursue it, but do it in a healthy way. Set personal boundaries, establish and lead with confidence, because people will treat you how you allow them to treat you, and just invest in yourself, because like Ashley was saying in the beginning, it's an industry that if you don't invest in your health and your sleep and your nutrition and breaks and personal development, it can burn you out like it did for me. So go for it. It's an incredible industry, but just set boundaries and take care of yourself.
Well said, Carrie. Well said. Carrie, successful career, beautiful family. In between, when you listen to your music, classical music, dance and ballet, do your training and your extended family and building your home, it's packed life for you, Carrie. What's something that you're looking forward to in the future?
Oh, something I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to, and I've kind of said this already, but just being settled in our new home, and making a forever home there. Like I said, I've moved like 10 times in 10 years. It's been a lot. So I'm really excited to just settle in and take a proper couple weeks off to settle in with my family and establish a really balanced lifestyle there, with a lot of time outside and learning to garden and all that kind of stuff that's going to come with having that property and finally being there. So I'm a firm believer in not like wishing away and saying things like, I can't wait, because life is really made up of these kind of little moments in between. I don't want to wish away the time between now and things that I'm excited for in the future, but it will be an immense blessing when we get into our family home and start that chapter of our lives.
100%. On behalf of me, Ashley, and rest of our listeners, Carrie, you will have a beautiful settling experience in your new home and everything that you're going to go through. Carrie, is there any part of your life or career that we haven't touched, or is there anything else you would like to say to the listeners before we close this episode?
We've covered a lot. So, let's see. I think, the only thing that I can think of that maybe that I wish I would have known, and that I think would have helped me many years ago when I was burning out, in addition to like the balance and the health, is just that it'll all come together. My mom got me a mug when I was like spiraling and stress, and as a young 20-something-year-old, as a new single mom and moving out on my own, and she gave me a mug that said, I hate to spoil the ending, but everything will be okay. And it's so applicable to everything. So, wherever you are in your career or your life or anything, just, I hate to spoil the ending, but everything will be okay.
100%, Carrie. What a beautiful way to finish this episode, Carrie. Thank you so much for joining Scribble Talk, Carrie. It's been an absolute privilege to have you with us. I wish you, your family, your loved ones, and everybody at Microsoft all the good health and happiness. Please continue to inspire bid and proposal colleagues and everybody around you. Stay healthy, stay happy, stay sane, and hopefully we will all travel permits. I'll be there with you at Denver, and we'll try to catch up in person. Thank you so much, Carrie.
Thank you so much for having me.
To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Please visit batchuscribble.com/podcast to listen to this episode and check out any of our other previously recorded episodes. If you've enjoyed today's interview, don't forget to subscribe, review, and share the Scribble Talk podcast. We hope you'll check out our next episode where we interview another industry expert and special guest. Until then, it's Ashley Kays,
Pastor Sundram,
signing off.